Please stand for the presentation of colors.
Honor guard, attend. Who? Detail, post the colors. Detail, present, arms.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Detail, order, arms. Honor guard, dismiss.
Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the Walnut Creek Police Department's Employee Recognition and Award Ceremony. Today we honor newly appointed employees, commend citizens of our community, acknowledge promotions, and recognize members of the department for their extraordinary contributions and service. I'd like to acknowledge dignitaries and retired employees. From Senator Mark DeSaulnier, 7th District, Jonathan Uriarte. Mayor Cindy Silva. City Council members Bob Simmons, Mayor Pro Tem Christina Lawson. I'd also like to welcome City Manager Ken Norduff. And from the city's executive team, Heather Ballinger. I'd like to recognize our welcome retired Police Chief Carol Swanson. Retired Chief Tom Sobranes. And it is with great pleasure that we show our gratitude and recognize those retired members of the Walnut Creek family in attendance. I'd like them to stand. Chief, opening remarks. Oh yeah, I can do that. I'd also like to, I apologize, I'd like to introduce our captains. my former captains. Captain Tim Schultz. Captain Steve Skinner. And our Chief of Police, Joel H. Bren.
Alan, you got a lot of stuff up here.
I know. I was going to say it.
All right, thanks, Alan, and let me thank everyone for coming today. We do this award ceremony annually, and it's our one time of the year that we get our department and the community together to celebrate and honor those individuals that are truly deserving of being recognized for their hard work, their devotion, and their bravery. It's an honor for me to be the police chief for the city of Walnut Creek, and it's also an honor for me today to recognize those employees and those citizens today for their outstanding accomplishments in 2012. But before we get to recognizing these folks, I want to brag a little. I want to talk about how proud I am of this police department and what our employees have done, not only in 2012, but going back many, many years when Tom Sobranes was the chief, when Carol Swanson was the chief. They set the groundwork for what we have today as an excellent police department. The hardworking and dedicated employees that we have here have done an extraordinary job keeping Walnut Creek safe. And despite the hurdles that we have had to get over, including staffing shortages, working long hours, additional demands in the form of increased calls for service, and critical incidents that tested this agency, this department and its employees remained professional. They provided outstanding service to this community, and most importantly, kept themselves safe and the community safe. So for those of you who live in Walnut Creek, those of you who may just work here, for those of you who may just visit, you get to reap the benefits of being policed by an organization of 111 law enforcement professionals who come to work every day knowing that they're going to do a great job for every single person who comes to this city. So let me conclude by saying this to the community: be proud of your police department. They do a great job for you every single day. And to the employees, many of which are here today, obviously, thank you. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for keeping Walnut Creek safe, and thank you for your dedication. You do a tremendous job every day for every single person that ever steps foot into our city, and I couldn't be prouder of you. Thank you.
I'd like to blame the chief for messing this up. We would now like to present the Citizens Commendation Award. The Citizens Commendation Award is awarded to a citizen deserving special recognition for their unique efforts and contributions to law enforcement. The first person that I was going to call up didn't make it today. His name is Aaron Drake. I'd like to call up Sally Mancino. On January 12th of this year, the Walnut Creek Police Dispatch advised that Contra Costa Fire was en route, code 3, to the Target store for a 1-year-old child who was non-responsive. Officer Hahn arrived first on scene prior to any emergency personnel. Upon arrival, Officer Hahn immediately saw registered nurse Sally Mancino, who was tending to the unresponsive child and had largely stabilized her condition. Ms. Mancino advised responding officers and emergency medical personnel that the child was having a seizure and was in respiratory arrest. With Ms. Mancino's quick actions, she was effectively able to stop the seizure and restore the child's breathing. AMR then transported the mother and child to the hospital for observation. Based on her selfless actions and quick thinking, Ms. Mancino is deserving of the respect and admiration of the Walnut Creek Police Department and is hereby awarded the Walnut Creek Police Department Citizen Commendation Award. I'd next like to call up Eugenio Martinez. Oh, up? Didn't make it, sorry. Would Detective Leonard please come up?
Hi. Jessica Backus, can I have you come up, please? On June 9th, 2012, at approximately 12:54 a.m., Francisco Hernandez Marietta attacked Jessica Backus, who was unknown to him, as she walked home through a city park. Hernandez Marietta grabbed Jessica and forced her to the ground. Jessica was able to bite the assailant's hand and punch him several times in the face. Due to Jessica's resistance, the assailant fled on foot on the Iron Horse Trail. He was soon intercepted by a Walnut Creek police officer responding to Jessica's call to 911 and her detailed description of Hernandez Marietta. Hernandez Marietta was taken into custody and arrested for assault. Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office reviewed the investigation and filed 2 felony counts against the arrestee for assault to commit rape and false imprisonment by violence. On August 14, 2012, Jessica once again faced her assailant when she testified against him courageously in court for a preliminary hearing. On December 17, 2012, Hernandez Marietta pled guilty to 1 felony count of assault to commit rape. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison, where he sits today. Yeah. Just.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. I'm Reserve Sergeant Alan Christensen. And at the rate it's going, you can call me Reserve Sergeant Scott Burns, who's here. I'd now like, did you come up? Here it is.
Thanks, Sergeant Burns. All right, Christensen. Okay, we're going to get the show going here now. Congratulations to our citizens. We had 2 of them unable to show up today, but the 2 that did are brave people. They did a great service to the community, and thank you both. So let's give them another round of applause. The first award to an employee today, actually a volunteer, but still very important part of our organization, is our Cadet of the Year. The Walnut Creek Police Department Cadet Program helps develop officers of our future. The program is for young men and women ages 16 to 22 that 1, want to serve their community, and 2, have an interest in being a law enforcement professional. This program, supporting young men and women, has a history of producing police officers for this agency. For example, our officer receiving a life-saving award today, Jeff Slater, started as an explorer, now a cadet, for our Walnut Creek Police Department. My predecessor as Chief of Police, Tom Sobranes, started his career, I won't say how long ago, Tom, as a cadet for the Walnut Creek Police Department. And the last person I'll mention is Ed Ramaya. Ed Ramaya started as a police cadet for us, then became a police reserve officer, and is right now, he's not here today because he's in the police academy as a Walnut Creek police recruit. So this is a great program that we like to support, and it produces great police officers. Our program currently has 10 cadets that perform a variety of tasks in and around our department. Those tasks include transporting police vehicles to and from the corporation yard, role-playing at SWAT training. I was saying SWAT incidents, and we don't role-play at SWAT incidents, they really happen. SWAT training, doing traffic control, vehicle inspections, working DUI checkpoints, and helping in the office, not only in investigations, but also in our records division as well. Could I have the cadets that are here stand and be recognized? Come in here. Come on, stand up. It's tough to get them here because they're either working or in school during the day. So we appreciate all the time they can give us. Now, for the good part, our Cadet of the Year for 2012 is Christy Corey. Christy, could you and your family come up to the stage? Christy has been a Walnut Creek Police cadet for approximately 1 year. She's a junior at San Jose State University, and on top of her school schedule and working at a winery part-time, she was keeping that from me, so we're going to have to talk about that. Christy puts in 30 to 40 hours a month with this police department. Her goal is to become a full-time police officer and one day be a canine handler like Pat Duggan and Joe Coffin are right now. So Christy, congratulations on being our Cadet of the Year. So our next award is going to our Volunteer of the Year. It's my pleasure to announce who our Volunteer of the Year is. And our police department has over 40 volunteers that are divided into 3 groups. The cadets, who you just heard about, our VIPs, which stands for Volunteers in Police Service, and our reserve officers. Our reserve officers have an annual banquet during the fall each year, and that's where they get their recognition and are honored. So today we're going to talk about our Volunteer of the Year, and our award for our VIP, who's the Volunteer of the Year, is called the Walter Stern Award. The Volunteer of the Year exemplifies selflessness, commitment, dedication, and humility in service to the Walnut Creek Police Department. These are all very strong characteristics of Walter Stern, who served this department with distinction for 23 years. Walter was one of our first volunteers and worked here for over 23 years, well into his 90s. Our recipient of the 2012 Walter Stern Award is Chaplain Rita Rogers. Rita, can you and your family come to the stage?
My mother's too shy, but she's sitting in the audience.
So Rita told us her mother's in the audience along with her friend, but I guess mom and the friend are too shy. Maybe you can stand up and say hi to everybody. Rita joined our department in 2004 as a volunteer police chaplain and has been of great support to the staff and the community the entire time she's been a member of this department. Our police department established the position of police chaplain for the purpose of providing spiritual, emotional, and social support to members of the department and community. Our chaplains are equipped to deal with situations dealing with counseling, comforting, or reassuring, and work with other professionals in their capacity that can enhance circumstances such as a critical incident stress debrief. They're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and are available to not only members of the department, but the community as well. Some of their duties have included being with family members of the department during times of illness or injury, talking with agency officers or civilians from our department or other agencies during post-traumatic stress debriefs. They've assisted officers in notifications to families who've had loved ones severely injured or killed, and have done a number of different things and are there for our moral and spiritual support. Our chaplains also provide training to department personnel and their families on topics such as family life, stress management, spiritual priorities, and ethics. During the past year, our police department was involved in several critical incidents, and Rita was there for our officers and community each and every time. One particular incident I'd like to talk about real quickly is a fatal traffic accident that occurred in front of the Marriott Hotel. Rita was a welcome sight to the officers and family members at the hospital, where she spent hours with a father and son who had just lost a family member and were possibly going to lose another. Rita always seems to know what to say to people going through what is probably their worst experience they're ever going to deal with in their entire life. Rita's dependable, she's passionate, and she's well deserving of the 2012 Walter Stern Volunteer of the Year Award. Today we're going to be presenting several Chiefs commendations to sworn and civilian employees that stem from two critical incidents that I referenced earlier. To receive a Chiefs commendation, an employee must perform an outstanding act that brings credit to the department and involves an act or acts that are above and beyond the call of duty. The two incidents that our employees are being recognized for are the September 4th, 2012 shooting of a California Highway Patrol officer, and an incident on September 25th, 2012, where a suicidal male jumped from an overpass onto the freeway. We're going to start with the incident from September 25th, so could I have Officers Andy Brown and Dominic Clementi and their families come to the stage? Are they here? Oh, they're both on the street, so it must be busy. So let me tell you what they did. On the morning of September 25th, 2012, Officers Clementi and Brown were dispatched to the area of North Main Street and Geary Road to investigate the report of a male subject who was appearing suicidal by hanging from a freeway overpass fence. Several citizens were trying to talk to the subject off the ledge as he looked down onto I-680. Officer Clementi immediately responded code 3 and was the first officer to arrive at the scene. He parked his patrol car on westbound Treat Boulevard and ran across eastbound lanes of traffic during peak rush hour to contact the subject. Officer Clementi tried to talk to the individual by telling him he was there to help, but at the same moment he got to the scene, the man jumped onto the freeway. Officer Clementi immediately requested medical response as the male landed on the freeway and was severely injured. He was then struck by two vehicles as Officer Clementi ran down the on-ramp of the freeway to aid him. Officer Clementi went out onto the freeway and single-handedly stopped 4 lanes of traffic. He rendered first aid to a man who was barely breathing. A nearby tow truck driver drove his vehicle into southbound traffic to shield Officer Clementi from getting hit by other cars. The male stopped breathing and had no pulse after approximately 90 seconds. Officer Andy Brown arrived at the scene and brought his CPR mask as he got to the other side of the freeway, jumped over the centered median, and ran across several lanes of traffic to assist Officer Clementi. Officers Clementi and Brown both started to perform CPR on the injured male until paramedics arrived on the scene to take over life-saving measures. Officers Clementi and Brown's actions were truly remarkable. Each of these officers put their lives in jeopardy in an attempt to save a man they didn't know. They are both commended for their bravery, ability to perform under the most difficult of circumstances, and for their professionalism. So let's give them a round of applause. The second of the two incidents our personnel are receiving commendations for today is the September 4th, 2012 incident on Interstate I-680, where CHP Officer Kenyon Youngstrom was shot and fatally wounded. I'd like to call to the stage Officer Anthony Morosco, Officer Bill Jaha, Officer Jeff Slater, Civilian Supervisor Chastity Ledford, and Police Assistants Deborah Bushnell, Shamika Riley, and Karen Burns, and their families to the stage. I love it when the kids show up, then they quit staring at me. I feel a lot better about that. On the morning of September 4th, 2012, California Highway Patrol Officer Kenyon Youngstrom was shot and fatally wounded on I-680 just outside our city limits. Our dispatch center received the emergency calls for help from numerous witnesses and CHP dispatch. Dispatchers Deborah Bushnell and Karen Burns were working in our dispatch center at the time of the shooting and did an outstanding job of gathering initial information and getting officers to the scene. Dispatcher Shamika Riley and Dispatch Supervisor Chastity Ledford were working in other assignments when the call came out and immediately dropped what they were doing in order to assist Deborah and Karen. The extraordinary number of emergency calls that came into our dispatch center that day were handled efficiently and with the utmost professionalism. Officers Anthony Morosco, Bill Jaha, Shane Blatz, Mike Adams, Jeff Slater, and Sergeant Tom Cashon were the first police personnel to arrive at the scene. What they found upon arrival was a severely wounded Officer Youngstrom lying on the freeway, a suspect still inside his vehicle, and a second CHP officer at the scene who had just been involved in a shooting. Our team of officers arrived at that incident, and their actions were extraordinary. Among the actions they took were life-saving efforts, securing the suspect, recovering the firearm the suspect used, crime scene prevention, shutting down the freeway, and countless other investigative decisions and actions that were made for the next several hours until the scene could be turned over to the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's Office. All of the personnel from the Walnut Creek Police Department that assisted with this critical incident did a tremendous service to law enforcement in the community that day. They helped solidify our department's reputation as an outstanding law enforcement agency by their actions, as well as during the follow-up that took place for several days afterwards. The actions of all these individuals reflect the highest standards of law enforcement, and they're commended for their bravery, their professionalism, and ability to perform under the most difficult of circumstances. Congratulations. Get all the photos we need to take? As you can see, Officer Jeff Slater and his family have remained on the stage, and that is because Officer Slater will be receiving the department's life-saving medal. As you just heard, on the morning of September 4th, 2012, Highway Patrol Officer Kenyon Youngstrom was shot and fatally wounded on the freeway. Our department received those calls from witnesses and CHP dispatch, and were the first to arrive at the scene. Upon arrival, our personnel immediately took control of the incident. They discovered that Officer Youngstrom had been shot and was lying on the shoulder of the freeway. Another CHP officer was present when the shooting occurred, and he immediately shot and wounded the suspect, who was in a vehicle on the shoulder of the freeway. Officer Jeff Slater was one of the first Walnut Creek police officers to arrive at the scene. He immediately went to the aid of Officer Youngstrom. Officer Slater could see Officer Youngstrom had been shot and was in critical condition. And using his knowledge and skills as a first aid instructor, Officer Slater performed CPR, keeping the downed officer alive long enough for his relatives to see him at the hospital and say goodbye before he passed away. Officer Slater's actions on September 4th were truly remarkable, as he kept a fellow member of law enforcement alive by performing CPR. His quick action and bravery reflect the highest standards of law enforcement. Jeff's commended for his life-saving skills, ability to perform under the most difficult of circumstances, and his professionalism. And for those reasons and his life-saving action, Jeff is being awarded the department's life-saving medal. This is going to mess with Alan, our MC, a little bit, but we're going to go off program here for a little. Dominic Clementi just walked in. Dominic, can you come up to the stage? And bring your family. Yeah, Gina. Come on, Gina. As I told you a few minutes ago, Officer Clementi was one of two officers that went to the aid of an individual on the freeway on September 25th. He stopped 4 lanes of traffic, and you can see he's tall enough, his arms probably reached about 3 of them. But the bottom line is he put his life at risk for someone he didn't know, someone who was actually trying to take their own life, and did an absolutely fantastic job. And Dominic, for that, you receiving a Chiefs Award today, so congratulations.
Next, we have the senior officer and master officer promotions. Master officers must fulfill criteria including service in a special assignment, unique educational and experience, and participate in special project that benefits the department, the city, or the community. The senior officer level requires a minimum of 9 years in law enforcement. The Master Officer 1 level requires 15 years in law enforcement, and the Master Officer 2 level requires 20 years in law enforcement. I'd like to now bring up Captain Schultz.
Thank you, Alan. A little help. So we're honoring the senior officers, and I believe not all of them are here, but they are Rick Baca, Ryan Hibbs, and Scott Morehouse. If you are in attendance, please come to the stage. And this is Scott Morehouse. Scott, is there anyone in the audience that you'd like to introduce? Okay. So please a round of applause for Scott for achieving senior officer. Next up, we'd like to honor the Master Officer 1, and we're recognizing 2 people today, Mike Adams and Randy Dickey. Unfortunately, I don't believe either made it. So a round of applause for both of them, please. The last step is Master Officer 2, and we're recognizing 1 person today, and I see her making her way down. A round of applause, please, for Liz Wallace. Liz, anyone you'd like to introduce? All right. Congratulations. Thank you. Round of applause. Next, we're going to recognize 2 police records technicians, and I'll introduce Captain Skinner for that.
I'm laughing, you can't see this, but there are like 15 pairs of reading glasses up here, so. So good afternoon. I get the great pleasure of introducing three very talented, very upbeat, very happy and enthusiastic employees, two of which I get to work with every day. And I see Stacy and Lauren glaring at me already right now. So I'm going to ask first for Police Records Technician Lauren Gehring to come up to the stage. And this is the part where we get to do a little bios on them, so they have to stand here for a minute while we talk about them. So Lauren was appointed to her position on July 2nd of 2012. A little bit of background about Lauren. She was born in Concord, grew up in Clayton, where she attended Clayton Valley High School. She obtained her criminal justice degree from Diablo Valley College and Cal State East Bay, and she is currently applying for graduate school. Her previous employer, prior to the city of Walnut Creek, was with the Clayton Police Department, where she was awarded the Employee of the Year award. She actually began her employment in Walnut Creek as our police services officer back in 2011 before she was hired as a PRT, and she is currently a member of our recruiting team. Lauren has some hobbies. She enjoys spending time with her friends, volunteering at church activities, and she also loves hiking with her dog, Recon. So Lauren, congratulations. Stacy, you ready? Okay, next I'd like to call to the stage one of our police records technicians as well, Stacy Leonard, and along with her family, please. So a little bit about Stacy Leonard. Her current title is Police Records Technician. She was appointed to this position on August 20th of 2012. Stacy was born in Concord and grew up in Martinez, where she attended Alhambra Valley High School and is currently residing with her family. Previous employment before working at Walnut Creek, Stacy was a court reporter and a court clerk, and she actually started with Walnut Creek PD as a dispatcher back in 2000. In 2004, she began working part-time at our dispatch center and police administration. Stacy returned back to full-time work as a police records technician in August of 2012. Stacy loves spending time with her family and friends, who we are lucky enough to get to see often, as evidenced by who's standing up on the stage. Enjoys camping and sports and working on their home. And she's here with her husband, Greg, and her two kids, Caitlin and Jackson. Congratulations, Stacy. And then finally, I was looking, is Amber in the audience? Amber Von Hofen, I wasn't sure if she was going to make it or not today. All right, well, we're going to read about her real quick. So Amber's one of our newer police dispatchers. She was born in Fremont and raised in Newark, and she attended Newark Memorial High School. She attended Chabot and Ohlone colleges to study fire and EMS science and nursing. While I'm reading this, I'm thinking, I think she works nights. Maybe she's home sleeping. So previous employment prior to Walnut Creek PD, Amber worked as an EMT emergency room technician and then as a police dispatcher for the city of San Mateo. She's got a wide variety of hobbies, including quilting, crafting, and baking. And I have to read this to you because she actually asked us to read a quote to the audience today. And that quote was, "I am so happy that I transferred here to Walnut Creek PD family. It has been a perfect transition and I'm very happy to be here." Very nice. So congratulations, Amber.
We move on to police officers. And if I could call Dustin Brookshire to the stage, please, with his family. Dustin was appointed on March 18th of 2013. And Justin, you correct me if I get anything wrong here. Born in Stockton, grew up in Escalon, where he attended Escalon High School, and then San Joaquin Delta College. Dustin is another former explorer, where he started with Escalon PD in 1999, and then volunteered as a reserve officer. He became a full-time police officer in 2004 with Escalon PD, and eventually promoted to sergeant. His previous assignments include being a field training officer, a school resource officer, and he was the coordinator of the Explorer program. He also worked as a driving instructor at the Criminal Justice Training Center in Modesto. And you enjoy sports such as baseball and hockey. There's not a lot of hockey rinks out there, is there? As well as taking trips to the coast. And Justin, do you want to introduce, you have an attendance here? And pinning the badge today will be his stepdad, Tom. Justin, we're happy to have you here. Congratulations. Next up is Police Officer Raquel Cantillan. Please come up with your family. Raquel was appointed on October 1st of 2012. Born and raised in Napa, California, attended Vintage High School and earned 3 Associate of Arts degrees from Napa Valley College. She obtained her bachelor's degree in business administration from USF and has previous employment as the director of sales at Young's Market Company. She was the deputy city clerk for the city of Calistoga and was also a dispatcher with the Napa Police Department. Most recently, she worked at the city of Napa as the dispatcher and dispatched for not only police but also the sheriff, the fire, and medical. She got 2 awards when she graduated from the academy last September. She was the top scorer in report writing as well as in interpersonal communications. She enjoys running with her dog, Rowdy, spending time with friends and family, loves the Giants games, boating at the lake, and traveling. And could you introduce who you have in attendance? And pinning the badge will be her dad, retired Napa Police Department Sergeant Tim Cantillan. We're also glad to have you here, Raquel. Congratulations. Last to the stage, Police Officer Joe Girogi. Joe was appointed on July 30th of 2012. He was born in Green Bay, California, and raised in Nairobi, Kenya. He attended Santa Rosa High School and earned his bachelor's in electronics engineering from DeVry University, Pomona. His previous jobs included being a food server, a library attendant, and faculty assistant, and he most recently worked as a police officer for the San Jose Police Department. He enjoys running. He has previously run in the law enforcement 120-mile relay race from Baker to Vegas, and he also has played in the Police Olympic soccer team. And Joe, who's in attendance today?
My wife, Dana.
Welcome. Pinning the badge will be your wife, Dana. happy to have you here. Congratulations. Next up is Police Sergeant. And could I have, did Sergeant Dunleavy make it? He questioned whether he was going to be able to. Okay. How about Sergeant Beth Hopkins? Beth was appointed November 23rd of 2012, born in Walnut Creek, raised in Lafayette, and a graduate of Acalanes High School. Bachelor's degree in criminal justice management, as well as a master's of business administration. She's been with Walnut Creek Police Department since 1999 and is currently an instructor at the Napa Police Academy. Before she was promoted to sergeant, she was a field training officer, a detective, a community policing team officer, a firearms instructor, and both a DARE and character counts instructor. She loves spending time adventuring around with her family, and in attendance is pinning the badge today will be her father, former Walnut Creek Lieutenant Dave Johnson, and he's actually using badge number 164, which was his. Congratulations, Jeff. Okay. And we're going to go off schedule here after these photos. And we're going to let the chief come back up because Andy Brown walked in. We'd like to recognize him.
Andy, will you come to the stage real quick? Andy Brown was the other officer with Officer Clementi that went onto the freeway and helped the suicidal man. Ran across several lanes of traffic after jumping over the center median on Interstate 680 during rush hour. And with traffic going around them, they stopped 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, performed CPR on the individual until the paramedics were there, and put his life at risk for someone, again, he didn't know, and someone that was trying to take their own life, but did it because it's the right thing to do, and did it because that's what police officers do. So Andy, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Sergeant Mike Segru to the stage, please. As he makes his way up, he was appointed on November 23rd, 2012. Born in Oakland and grew up all over the Bay Area, but primarily in Oakland and Hercules and Vacaville. Went to St. Mary's High School in Berkeley. Are they the Panthers? They are. Okay, all right. Justin Siena High School in Napa and Will C. Wood High School in Vacaville. He graduated with honors in 1993. Went on to earn his bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a minor in psychology from Cal State University at Sacramento, where he graduated cum laude in 1998. He previously worked for 6.5 years as a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force, working primarily in security forces, and attained the rank of captain. He served all over the United States, also in Europe, South America, as well as the Middle East. Before joining Walnut Creek Police Department, Mike worked as the Chief of Security Forces for the 615th Air Mobility Operations Group. He has completed the United States Air Force Phoenix Raven program, which is very prestigious, and he has held varied assignments, including field training officer, driver instructor, a member of the Honor Guard, special agent assigned to CNET, as well as an in-house special investigations unit detective. He enjoys spending time with family as well as working out. And Mike, do you want to introduce who here is in attendance?
My daughter Addison, my wife Shelby, my mom Sandy, my dad Mike, and my brother Tom.
And pinning the badge will be his wife Shelby as well as his daughter Addison. Congratulations, Mike. Next to the stage is the rank of lieutenant. Lanny Edwards, please. Lanny was appointed to lieutenant on July 20th of 12. Born in Inglewood, raised in Concord, where he attended the Concord High School. He obtained his bachelor's degree in business economics from UC Santa Barbara and earned a master's in emergency services from CSU Long Beach. Before Lanny joined Walnut Creek Police Department, he was a police officer for the University of California at Santa Barbara. And he's been with us for how many years? 23 years. Previously been a patrol lieutenant, a detective sergeant, a member of SWAT, a field training officer, and was also assigned as a detective at the Contra Costa County Narcotic Enforcement Team. Noteworthy accomplishments. Lanny supervised the Garnier homicide investigation, which was the San Francisco police officer that was murdered in the Ross parking lot. He's worked in and developed relationships with several other cold case investigations and has done numerous career cases while here at Walnut Creek as well as when he was at CNET. Lanny enjoys boating, camping, good wine, going to the movies with his son Kyle and watching, oh, this pains me to say, the Angels come to Oakland and beat the A's, historically speaking, of course. Moreover, he's an accomplished runner and has completed 6 marathons, is that right? Anyone in attendance that you'd like to introduce?
I would. I have several friends here. Took notes so I won't forget anybody. Lifelong friend Robin Cutter, Lieutenant Rob Franklin with Alameda PD, Paula and Hardy Miller, and the entire Hill. Oh, wait, you're here for Jay, aren't you?
And pinning the badge
is retired Chief Tom Smucker. Before I forget, so I knew even if I wrote it down, it's really pretty. Ron and Denise Fraser are out there somewhere. They just didn't sit next to us.
Congratulations, Lanny. Police Lieutenant Jay Hill. Jay was appointed on September 14th of 2012. Born in Walnut Creek, grew up in Antioch, where he attended Antioch High School. He earned his bachelor's degree in communications from Chico State and his master's in administration of emergency services from Cal State Long Beach. Jay also has held a number of assignments, including being a member of SWAT. He's currently one of the supervisors for the bomb team. Also was assigned as a special agent at CNET. He was a detective sergeant and has also been a supervisor of our crime scene investigations team. Enjoys photography, our resident department photographer, camping, home improvement, which he's currently working on. We hear all about it. Wakeboarding and gardening. And who's in attendance, Jay?
My wife Chris, my son Tanner, my daughter Janae, my mother-in-law Penny, my brother-in-law Pete, and my daughter's boyfriend Alan.
And pinning the badge today will be your wife Chris. Congratulations, Jay. And while they're photoing, I need to have the three new officers come back to the stage to take their oath of office.
Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of California. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance. To the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully. Discharge the duties. Upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
I'm not sure many of you know, but this is the last function for our chief as he's retiring. I just wanted to mention that and thank him for his 5 years of service with our department. I suspect I'll be in his office tomorrow.
We don't pay him anyway.
Good vacation day. I'd like to thank everyone for attending, especially the families. I'd like to invite everyone to come up on the stage, take photos with your family members, and in the reception area we'll have refreshments. Thanks again for attending.